Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019, 100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com and BigGTV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. And we're back, and we welcome in Blackman head coach Matt Kriesky. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Pretty good. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Big win on Thursday night, the big 35-7 win over Stewart's Creek to improve to 6-1 on the season and 3-1 in the region play.
Yes. You know, we challenged kids all week to start fast and get going fast. Felt like we did that. Started the game out pretty quick, going. Had some things go our way. Both sides of the ball. You know, Rylan Odor had some big catches in the first quarter. Him and Javion connected some big plays. Defense was flying around. Was causing problems for them. Created a turnover that first drive. Got a fumble recovery. And then at the end of the first quarter, Jaden Gowan had that pick six.
Yeah, it was a really, really great start, getting up 28-0. And, you know, that's a rivalry game. And I don't know if a lot of people understand that, like how close these kids are to each other. And a lot of them grew up with each other, played ball growing up to it with each other, and that's always a rivalry game.
Yeah, they play youth sports growing up. They know each other. You know, some of these games you can tell how close these kids are because after the game, you know, they talk for a minute after the game. You can tell their friendships and them knowing each other. So yeah, it was a big game. You know, since I've been here, the Stewart's Creek Blackman game has been a rivalry game. You know, we were very fortunate. Some things happened early for us to get us going. And as you can see, you know, once Stewart's Creek settled in, you know, it was the second and third quarter was a battle. It was a defensive battle. Both teams defensively, I thought, played well. They made some adjustments, and I thought they did a great job figuring out some things we were doing and coming after us on certain situations. You know, and they really explored us in some areas offensively. So found out some things that we need to fix and improve on as we head into these last three games.
And you could tell, I could tell your guys were ready to get back out there after a tough week the week before. You could just see they were ready to go from the opening kickoff. Yeah.
I'll be honest. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie or anything. Monday was tough for them. It was probably one of the hardest Mondays that I've had since it's been coaching. You know, you could tell the guys were still really down. We all were kind of upset about our performance and what we did the week before. But like I told them, man, we got to move on. You know, there's a bunch of teams that's lost a game during the season and finished really strong. So how are we going to respond? How are we going to handle this reverse adversity? What are you going to do in life when you get knocked down? Are you going to stay down, or are we going to get back up and fight and find ways to get better, find ways to improve? And so, you know, I thought, you know, as each day went on, one, it was a short week. I thought we had a better Tuesday and a better Wednesday, and then Thursday morning, our morning lift, I thought was great. The energy, you could tell, you know, finally the kids were like, here we go, it's time to play another game, and let's move on. And so I was worried all week. Thursday morning, once we had that lift, and I saw the energy, I told Coach Crosby after the lift, you know, they're back. You know, I feel pretty good about tonight going in because I was worried about our energy and how we were going to respond.
Yeah, and you know, I think it started, you know, Javion Elliott, and you know, really, really great performance for him. 7-11, 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed twice for 83 yards and a touchdown in a 35-7 win. And Javion is our SRM Concrete solid performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. But Javion's growth, and you know, I got to see him when he was a younger player, and you can just see, you know, the mental side of it. He's really starting to grow up.
Yeah, and you know, he's doing some things offensively when he sees things, making some adjustments that he wasn't making early in the year. And so he's like you said, he's a great kid. You know, he's starting to develop some leadership. You know, and he's, you know, we got I believe we got 4 receivers that out there that he can connect with, and they can score at any time. You know, I was really impressed. Brylan made a great catch, that first catch.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it was an unbelievable catch that he made. You know, and was able to score off of breaking tackles. That tells you what type of what type of player he is. So we got to find more ways to get him the football. And then the second touchdown, just going up, high pointing that football, and scoring a touchdown. And the defensive back he was going against, was pretty much just as tall as he was, and he was able to jump and high point the ball and score. But our other receivers, that do a great job. Bryson Mitchell, each game he has 2 or 3 catches, so he does a great job. Kari Dixon has had a big year for us, and then even Max Wilcox, man, those guys, we can spread it out and get each one of those guys a couple touches each game. We'll be fine, and then in our red game, Micah Nance and Jabari Kemp will do a great job. So I think as we move forward in the season, Javion has developed a relationship with each one of those guys, and it's gotten better as we've gone through the season. And so we've got to continue to improve and get better. And then you look on our defense side of the ball, man. Those guys defensively flew around Friday night. We had some young guys come in that really stepped in that really stepped in and didn't realize they were going to play as much as they did, and some sophomores that came in and played and had a great night, and that says a lot about our defensive staff, the development that they do with those young men. They came in and without, nobody was nervous, nobody was uptight about these young guys playing on the defensive side of the ball, and they had a great night. I'll give a shout out to Amari Sanford, man. He had a great night.
I mean, I was impressed. I was really impressed with the defense. Multiple guys flying around the ball. There was always pressure in the backfield. And then Jaden Gowan getting the pick and running it back. I mean, that's another big play in the game.
Yeah, and this young man's come off a knee injury last year, and he's gotten really better as the year went on, and so he made that pick and made a guy miss and then scored a touchdown. We were really excited for him, and he's one of those kids that does everything that you ask him to do. In the classroom, on the field, in the weight room. So it was great to see a young man like that have a great play.
And, sometimes coming off a loss, sometimes the best remedy and the best thing you got to go through is you got a rivalry game. And those kids, and Stewart Street was going to give them their best shot, and your guys were just ready to go.
Yeah. We came out ready to go, and and it was they were ready to get that bad taste out of their mouth and move on and move forward, and we did a great job responding in the first quarter, and their energy was there. So I was a little worried about it, but they did fine, and they were ready to go.
I wanted to just talk about one other guy that really impressed me is your kicker, Braxton Bentley. He kicks the ball into the end zone pretty much every kickoff. He was 5 of 5 on PATs. That's another weapon for you. Yeah,
Braxton does a great job punting for us. He's made some punts here in the past couple of weeks that have been really impressive. Him and Tyler Bourne-Boza, they swap in and out, so they share kicking duties, and they're both great. They're both a huge weapon for us. Special teams are huge, and that's one of the things that we put a big emphasis on. And then when like you said, when you got a kicker that can put it in the end zone every single time, that's huge.
That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to attack this the fall break? I know you had a weird week last week. You played a day early and you had to start a little bit earlier getting ready for Stewart's Creek. Now you attack or go right into fall break, and how are you going to attack that?
Yeah, well, we did, lifted and did a little film yesterday morning, first period, and then we gave them off the rest of the day when they were out of school. We'll be off until next Thursday. We'll practice Thursday and Friday. We'll start installing our game plan against Smyrna Thursday and Friday, and then we'll come back and have a full game week starting on Monday. And so it's a huge game. These last 3 games are huge. You look at any 3 of those teams on the schedule. It's what Rutherford County football is about, man. If you want to get into high school football, pay attention to these last 3 weeks in Rutherford County. It's going to be exciting. All these games in the county these last 3 weeks are huge for the playoff implications, and a lot of things can change. I mean, there is a lot, top to bottom, there is a lot of good teams in our league, and it's really unfortunate and disappointing that some of these teams that are good. Like I see them on film that are good, and they're going to miss out on the playoffs. It's, I don't want to say it's fair, man, but it's not fair, because I feel like, our 5th and 16th teams could probably go somewhere and win a playoff game. No
doubt about it. And there's a reason why, you talk to all the coaches, around, they call this the SEC of 6A football.
Yes, and you see it, and it's going to, these last 3 weeks are going to be a battle. So we got to be ready. There's no just going through a week of practice. There's just going through the motions, because if you go through the motions, you're not gonna have success on Friday night, and you probably come up on the wrong end. So we've got to get back to work on Thursday and Friday, and then starting the following week and get ready to play.
And you mentioned it a little bit, 3-1 right now in region play, in a good position for this stretch of 3 games. And I know you take it one game at a time, but I know you said it a little bit, but how do you really get that across to your guys? We got to have these 3 games going down to the end.
Yeah, and like I said, our motto, we've been focusing on one game at a time. Every week, our goal is to go 1-0. So when we start Thursday, we're going 1-0. The only thing we're worrying about is Smyrna, because that's our next challenge. Once we go through that week, then we'll focus on Siegel the following week. But going into fall break, our main focus, the coaches are we're already starting preparing and working. So we're working on Smyrna now, and that's all we're worried about right now is Smyrna.
And that's what you have to do. Another great week for the Blaze. Coach, good luck. Have a great fall break, and we'll see you when we get back.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, that was Blackman head coach Matt Kriesky. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car, professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com.